So now that we set this virtual DOM up and that we rendered this HTML content into our virtual DOM, which is used for the tests, let's get started with the first real test. And for this, I first want to test that showError, so this function which we're importing here, that this function should add an error paragraph to the ID equals errors element. Because that's the core job this function should do. It should add a paragraph to this errors container element. If you have a look at index.html, then you see it's this div with an ID of errors, which I'm targeting with that code in DOM.js, and I want to insert a paragraph into that div. And that's what showError should do in the end. That's what I want to test here. To test this, I will execute showError with any error message of our choice. This doesn't matter here. Could actually even be undefined. It does not matter because I'm not testing the error message with this test. I just want to execute it. So I'll just pass in some dummy text here. And then after calling showError for setting up an expectation, I want to get hold of my error element by using document getElementById. And I'll select the errors element. And we can use document here in our testing code as well now, not just in the code that's executed by our testing code, but also in this test file itself. We will use the same document which our other code uses, because it's one and the same document which we then stubbed globally, so which we replaced globally. And therefore here I can reach out to this document, get this element with an ID of errors, and then I basically want to check if there's a paragraph inside of it, because that is what the showError function should do. So here I'll get my error paragraph by reaching out to errors L and getting the first element child. Next, we can formulate an expectation by importing expect from vtest. And here I expect this error paragraph not to be null, because it should be there. If it would not be there, if this line of code would not find any element inside of the errors element, then error paragraph would be null, and I expect it not to be null because, of course, an error paragraph should have been inserted. And with this first real test written, if we execute it, this is looking good. All tests passed. And just to double check this, if I remove the not, then this test should fail, of course, and it does, because now I expected it to be null, but we did find a paragraph in there. So this is working the way it should.